So the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater getting ready for their 4th season of fun and excitement at the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater in Marymount Park at Pageant Field. And Sara, Callard, and Danby are here with breaking news. The schedule is finalized. Ladies,
Yay!
happy 4th season.
It's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it went by quickly, Sara.
Yes.
Just from a thought to a packed summer schedule.
Yes. Yeah. And we are sort of adhering to our original plan, which was like, the 9 shows, I think it works out to.
Okay.
And kind of a mix of, we get the theater day or evening, I should say, which has turned into more of a theater weekend.
Yeah.
We've realized that a Friday and Saturday work better than just a Friday. And then, we have our Celtic Quincy night with Cherry Orchard. They're coming back. That was, a lot of people were disappointed. They were the only ones who got rained out last year. So
okay.
So we're welcoming them back. And where should I begin? We have a lot to cover.
Why don't we just start with a very quick overview of what Friends of Ruth Gordon Amphitheater is?
Yeah,
for
sure.
folks that don't
For
know.
those
there are
who
new
don't
people
know.
coming to the city all the time. So,
Yeah. So Friends of Ruth Gordon Amphitheater is essentially, is it 4 years ago now that the amphitheater was essentially a threatened property. There was talk of filling it in and demolishing it because it had been in disuse for a number of years. And mostly this is because it just wasn't getting, upgraded. The electrical was no longer working, the overhead lights were no longer working, things like that. So a great friend of mine, Maria DiTilio Mulligan, we were childhood friends. She reached out to me because my father, T.O. Trainer, was the architect of Ruth Gordon Amphitheater, which was commissioned by Mayor Larea and was run successfully by the Larea family, including, of course, Louise Larea, who we love, and recently passed away. So at any rate, we formed a group, stood out in the rain, picketed, made our voices heard,
yes.
And I wasn't about, I never wanted this to be about my dad.
Right.
Although, of course, the amphitheater meant something to me from that regard.
Sure.
But what I was really blown away with was just how many other people cared so deeply about the amphitheater. It was all part of their stories. They had all kinds of stories of how, the different events that had happened there over the years. And so it just became a life of its own, and really it's the people. I've gotten a lot of credit for this personally, but really I feel like I was mostly just the poster child, and I certainly did a lot of work, but so did Anne and Maria and Laurie Earl and Helene. So many people.
It really
so many
came
people.
together.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I am so excited about is that coming from people standing in the rain and saying, please don't get rid of the amphitheater, somehow turned into, Sara, please organize Fridays with bands. And she just stepped up, and
yes.
all of us have supported her in that and done what we can. I've kind of done the theater bit, but a few other things as well.
Sure.
But it wouldn't have continued if the people of the city didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
And
there was obviously a need that people might not even realize that hadn't been met.
Yes.
For
I
a
think
long
that's
time.
There's this outdoor theater.
Right.
The bands love playing there. The acoustics are wonderful.
Yeah.
People come out.
And that's another
Yeah.
part of it too. Is the performers, right? The musicians, the bands, the actors
actors.
now
Yeah.
that that see this as a viable venue
Yeah.
to
Yes.
connect with their audiences.
Yeah.
And it was always there. It's been there since the '80s, right?
Yeah.
And it was unused for a long time, and now it's back again. And now you're getting to be another a Quincy staple. Friends wait in anticipation for the next schedule for the Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater's Friends Fridays events.
Yes.
And Sara, we are here to say it's done for 2026, right?
I know, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, so let's run it
should we
down.
go through the
Yeah,
rundown?
let's do it.
Okay.
kicks off Friday.
It's
I
gonna
had the
kick
date right in
off
front of me.
The last Friday in June,
Okay.
which is kind of the schedule that we've been following all along.
Gotcha.
It seems like by that stage everyone's ready to party. So.
Especially after the spring we've had, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm really excited about the kickoff night because, for one thing, we're bringing back Wolfpack, which was a great band, a terrific band that played at the festival.
They
that
closed the
Ann-
festival.
They closed the festival
They were
that
wonderful.
Ann Danby did this summer, this
Uh-huh.
past summer.
And they're back.
And they're back.
Excellent.
So if you missed them last time, they're back by popular demand.
Okay.
And I am also excited about the opening act, which is going to be Ryan Peter Murphy. So check him out on Instagram. He has a huge following.
Okay.
He is a young rising star, in my opinion. They're calling him like the next Frank Sinatra.
Really?
He's just really incredible. So he just came on my radar on Instagram, and I thought, who is this guy? You know, he's great. He has a
Okay.
voice that's amazing. And he sings all those songs, like he sings a mix of modern ballads, I guess you would call them, and the old stuff, you know,
Really?
the old-fashioned stuff.
From the
He
American
kind of
Songbook
mixes it all.
kind of
Yeah,
stuff, really?
exactly.
Oh, neat, okay.
And so he's actually a student at Berklee School of Music.
What?
Yeah. And
Okay.
he sings out his window. This is what he became famous for, singing out his window, and then like he would sing to a girl out the window,
Yeah.
like, you know, and she would sing back, and you know, there was kind of like a thing.
Wow.
So this became kind of a thing that he's well known for, you might
Okay.
say. But he's a lot of fun, and he's bringing his other college buddies to back him up, and he's going to open for Wolfpack.
Look at you discovering new talent here.
Well, that's a part of what we do.
Yes, I
It's
know.
always been a part of this, is
Yeah.
that the incubating of new talent, because it's a great venue for that. It's perfect for that,
And
really.
people of Quincy get to benefit from that.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah.
And the young people really need it, you know, the people
Yes.
they need an opportunity. So then on the July 3rd, we will not be having a show, which is consistent
never
with what
do.
we've done
Right.
before as
Right.
well.
Folks
it's
are
just-
either away or they're in Boston for all the activities there. You know,
and
yeah.
I hear that there's another show going, and a big show somewhere in Quincy going that day, so I'm kind of glad that we didn't book it.
Sure.
On the 10th, we have the Divas with a Twist returning,
Okay.
again by very big popular demand.
Yes,
There are
yes.
some people that literally just come for the Divas every summer.
Fine, right?
So
That's
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
they're fabulous. And then on the 17th, we have one of my other favorites, which is Bluefish Yacht Rock. Okay, Bluefish. So if you're not familiar with Yacht Rock, how would you describe it?
How would you not be at this point?
How would you describe it?
Help-
and what
help
kind
me.
of things do they
Gosh.
play? It's like
Yacht
There's
rock, like the boat, like a
Michael-
boat, the
no,
yacht.
No, so there's
yeah,
a,
like the boat.
Okay.
That's right.
But
Yacht
on
Rock,
serious, there's a channel called Yacht Rock
I believe you.
that has a massive following.
it's kind of like soft rock, but
Okay.
it's like a little
from
bit
the
harkening back to
70s.
the 70s.
It's
Yeah,
Oh.
it's yeah,
a little bit of that. You know,
yeah.
I think there's a
The
huge.
Doobie Brothers are probably on
Oh, all
there.
right.
Yeah,
okay,
like it's
all
a
right.
lot of the stuff that I think people in our generation really love.
Okay.
So,
But other generations are discovering
but other
it
generations
too.
are too. Yeah.
So okay, so
Michael, there's anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
So
people
anyway.
who know what Yacht Rock is
Yeah.
will be very excited.
And if you
that we're
don't know
doing
what
it.
Yacht Rock is, come check it
come
out
out and
because
check
they're
it out.
they're amazing.
All right.
And they're
Yeah.
one of the best local bands that plays Yacht Rock really well. So
Okay.
we were
Are all
lucky
the
to get
bands
them.
local, Sarah, or are they from all over?
Not all of
Not all of them,
them.
okay.
Not all of
Sorry to
them.
distract you.
Yeah, no,
That's okay,
that's
yeah.
okay. So on 7/24, again, as I already mentioned, we're having Celtic Quincy again, which will be Terry Orchard, and they play, you know, more modern Irish rock songs, but then they also will be bringing in their opening musicians that are going to play the traditional Irish stuff,
Neat.
which is really cool. And then I guess I'll run down the rest of mine
Yeah.
and then toss
The
it
end
over
of
to Ann.
July weekend
July.
is the theater stuff.
Yeah,
The
July.
theater
So we'll
trip.
talk about that
July
in a second.
31st, Friday,
Yep.
and August 1st, the Saturday.
Saturday, okay, we
will
can come back
be
to
the
that, yeah.
plays, which Ann
Okay.
will discuss. On 8/7, we're doing a movie night, and that's a little bit still in the works.
Okay.
We're debating a couple of different films there. But
Okay.
on 8/14, we have the Glenn Andrews Band coming from New Orleans.
Oh,
And these guys are fabulous.
really?
So Glenn Andrews is like the reincarnation of Louis Armstrong.
Wow.
He sounds like Louis Armstrong. He kind of looks a little bit like Louis Armstrong, but he is just fabulous.
Does he play the trumpet like
And
Louis Armstrong?
he plays, I want to say that he actually plays a different horn.
Okay.
But very talented musician.
Neat.
And he plays with a great group, and they are just, I mean, if you want to think of New Orleans and those
Jazz,
parades
right?
that they have, and what's the big event? New Orleans.
Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
Okay.
Okay, just think about that, and that's what we're going to be bringing to Quincy.
Wow, okay.
It's going to to be fabulous. You're
The
not going to
big
want to sit in your
the big
seat.
Quincy Easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Neat.
That's going to be fabulous. And then on 8/21 is going to be a special night. We're having Disco Dream, which is a big band that plays. They play all the disco era stuff, and they're a big band, so they're gonna.
Fun. Okay.
We've kind of got a few big bands coming.
Come bring your dance shoes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They're
Bell
gonna have
bottoms and
horns and everything,
White
yeah.
patent leather shoes. And
Yeah. And,
yes, Ann. I'm a child of the '70s. I know.
No, I just had leisure suits in my head.
Oh, leisure suits. Plenty of those too. Yes.
That sounds good. And what I'd like to do is dedicate that night to Louise Larea.
Okay.
And have an opening band, our favorite supporters, and also close to Louise Larea, okay, is the Rudder Crew. Used to be the Rudder Kings, but now they're the Rudder Crew. And, every one of them have been involved in helping to save the amphitheater, and especially Kevin Coughlin, former city councilor,
Yes.
whose family really was close with Louise Larea and Joe Larea, former mayor.
Former mayor and former first lady,
Former
right?
first
Louise,
lady, yeah. So I think that it would be really special for them to open that night.
Okay.
And have that in honor of her.
Very
She's
nice.
a very special lady who we connected with. Maria and I went to visit her and just had an amazing time. She spent hours with us sharing, the whole story of the amphitheater and a lot more too.
Yeah.
And my dad was also very close with them too, so
Okay.
it meant a lot. But and then the final show will be 8/28 Studio 2 returns again by popular demand. It's becoming almost a tradition.
Yes.
But they'll be closing out the season, and we can almost expect they'll get rained out.
I was
again.
just going to say.
Oh no!
So you can put on your calendar, there'll be rain, and they'll
And then
actually
there'll
be the next
Sunday.
It'll be
day.
the next day. Okay.
Well,
all
2
right.
days later. On
2 days
Sunday.
later,
That's
Sunday.
They
Okay.
always reserve the Sunday as their rain date, and honestly, at that time
Yep.
of year, it's just it's like the farmer's almanac.
It
thing,
really is every
it's
year.
like it
It's-
always just rains on that day.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
If it
We'll see.
doesn't, we'll,
We'll
be
see.
very confused.
Okay.
Exactly.
And that's the Beatles
Yes,
revival
the
act?
Beatles revival.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's hugely popular.
Hugely
People come from
popular.
all over, yeah.
Yeah, and we just never get tired of hearing them, because they literally sound like the Fab Four themselves. So
Yes.
it's like a blast from the past.
It's such a wonderful mix of music. I mean, that's one of
Sounds
the
like
things
it.
that I love about what we've been doing and what Sara gets to put together is that there's something for everybody.
Really is,
There's
yeah.
this whole mix of music throughout, and
I mean, just in the shows you've named, we've got big band, we've got 70s soft rock,
Yeah.
we've got jazz, we've got
Yeah.
60s Beatles, music. So yeah, plus we have movies if you don't want music,
Right.
and live theater.
And a little bit of live theater.
Yeah.
So last year when we did the festival,
Yeah.
if you recall, we had 1X, and I had told you at the time, my God, we've got 20 from all over the world submitting. And they were fabulous. And some of them that we did last year that were great told the story of Quincy. But there were some that were great that we couldn't slot in there. But we said, listen, would you be willing to let us do not a festival, but a night of 1X, 2 nights of 1X next year? And they all said yes to these 5. So we're doing 5 1X on the Friday and the Saturday, as Sara mentioned.
July 31st and August 1st.
That's right.
Okay.
And one of the plays is from somebody coming home from World War II. It just takes place like in a 24-hour period, reacclimating himself, and what the impact is and what had happened before.
Wow,
So that's
okay.
one of them. And one of them is an unusual celebration of a couple's anniversary, and his idea and how that all plays out.
Okay. I know you're keeping it close to the vest because you don't want to give away too much.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly, because I want them to come see the
Sure,
story.
right, yeah.
And one of them is, and the funny thing is I picked this for this year, and then we had all the snow and all the challenges with parking, and I thought, did I do this on purpose to wait a year? Because it's about a man who's not really happy about parking spaces on the street.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought, well, that was good. That was good.
A lot of people can relate, yeah.
Exactly. One of them is a young girl whose name is Abby, who sits in front of the Abigail statue, and they end up conversing.
Interesting.
And so there's what happens with that.
Oh, that's kind of appropriate for America 250 this year.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Again, I kind of didn't even do that on purpose.
Yeah, okay.
And then the final one is one that was near and dear to Sara's heart, which is the one that she's co-directing.
Yay!
Which is about somebody trying to write, and the pigeon advises him.
The pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think that's really a fun. It's a really fun play.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain why it would be part of Quincy 400, but we couldn't not do it.
Okay.
and so we're excited that that's our
Okay.
fifth play.
Okay. So be plays that evening, the 31st, the Friday night, and then again that Saturday?
That's right. So if
Okay.
people can't make it on the Friday,
Yeah.
they can come on the Saturday.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. And it's the Thalia Theater Troupe,
The
right?
Thalia Theater Troupe. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
do you do performances all year round, Anne? Or is
Well,
this
we're now, so this year we'll be doing 3. So last year we
Okay.
did 2. It was the first time that we didn't do something at our summer home,
which is
the amphitheater.
Okay.
And so we did something at the Quincy's Arts Gallery
Yes.
last year, and we're doing something again this
Oh,
year
you
in
are?
June.
Okay.
And then we're hoping to do, we're waiting for final confirmation of the location for a fall play. This will be the first time we do a play in November.
Oh, very good.
But the one coming up in June, I can come talk about it more maybe. But,
Okay, sure.
But there's a local photographer. She also writes poems and music from the poems, and it's called Nantasket Nonsense.
Okay.
And that's gonna be in June. So
Okay.
yeah, so the birth of a theater troupe from the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like that incubation thing that we were
Very
talking
much
about.
so, yeah.
Anne was at our first big community meeting that we had at the library, and I just remember saying, you know, I envision plays happening on this stage. It's a perfect place. You know, you can almost think of something I would like to do is some Shakespeare personally. I'm a big fan of the Actors Shakespeare Project. Actually, I've been to a few of their plays, which they do usually in Cambridge or Watertown, and they're just like a phenomenal group, you know. But I'd love to do some Shakespeare with them, maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah. Well, do you know? Did Ruth Gordon do any live theater? I mean,
Oh yes.
Oh, she did.
Oh,
Okay.
she did.
So
she
she
wrote
did a
plays.
lot.
She won Tonys.
Okay.
And she acted in them. She was actually in Peter Pan, right?
She was in Peter Pan.
Wasn't she?
Yes. So Ruth Gordon's
She did a lot of
is
theater.
amazing, but so she started in theater.
Mm-hmm.
She famously, you know, we told the story. We might bring it back again at some point about her life story.
Yes.
But
yeah.
she started in Broadway and a lot of touring companies.
Okay. Okay.
And then after she did some films, she came back to Broadway again.
Okay.
And when the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater was dedicated, she said, I'm going to write a play to be performed by the Quincy High School on this stage. Unfortunately, I haven't yet found it.
Okay.
I'm in
She
search
did write
of
it, though.
it.
Oh.
She I don't know if
Well,
she when
Oh.
she died, she
She
was
may not
writing
have
it.
finished
Oh,
it.
okay.
We don't know
Right.
if she finished it.
Okay.
But if I can find her papers, I'm going to find out.
Yeah, we did ask her grandson Jack when he
Yeah.
so graciously came to visit us.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
hoping that we're in touch with Jack. He's a wonderful, wonderful man.
Yes.
And we're hoping that he'll come.
Very
again.
good.
You know, maybe he'll come to one of our shows this season.
So it's
but-
really quite appropriate that there's live
Yeah.
theater on the
Oh, yeah,
stage at
yeah.
Ruth Gordon.
Oh yeah, And Sarah's right. So there had been a theater company in maybe the 80s or 90s that
They
did
performed.
Shakespeare
Yeah.
on the amphitheater
Oh, okay,
stage. So
okay.
it's been done before. I think we get past our various celebrations of 400 and 250 and things. I think that it would be wonderful to do Shakespeare on that
Yeah,
stage.
and I mean that's just one thing, and not
Sure.
everybody is a Shakespeare fan. But I just think that theater of all kinds, I've always just loved it, and when Anne said right away when I announced it at the community meeting that I was thinking along these lines of having maybe our own little theater group. Anne came up to me afterwards and said, I'd love to be involved in that. I've been trying to get something like that going too. So it was a natural match.
Great fit, yeah.
But along the lines of the incubation, again, is that we did a Friends Rock Music Festival also a couple of years ago, and it was very popular. So I'll have to see if the grant for that comes through.
Okay.
There's a grant there's an application process we did put in again for.
Good.
But it's very competitive, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens.
Okay, all right.
But if we get that, we might be doing that again, which gives a lot of the local, that really gives a lot of the local people a chance to get out.
Right. Maybe some of the performers from Porch Fest, can find their spot on that as well. Friendsofrga.org is the main website to go to, right? You're all over social media, I know, as well.
Yeah.
Are you looking for more friends, Sarah, for the group?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, always join us on social media where you can really see what's going on. If you're confused about where to find the social media, if you just go onto our website, friendsofrga.org, the links are there.
Okay.
And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Break Rock Brewery, who's been a great partner with us throughout. And Jay just actually emailed me yesterday saying that our amphitheater ale is coming.
Ha! Okay.
So
special brew.
It's going to have its own special designed label
Neat.
In honor of the amphitheater. So we're just so excited about that.
Oh, that's fun. Really great.
Yeah, so that'll be, we'll be selling amphitheater, or Break Rock will be selling amphitheater ale this season. And we'll have our food vendors, Georgie's Creek and Black's Creek, and also our ice cream vendor, Smiles by the Mile. And I just want to thank the mayor. Thank you, Mayor Koch, for partnering with us on this journey and realizing how much this space means to the people. Yeah. And thank you to Dave Murphy and the Parks Department, and also especially to Paul Doherty, who's always worked very closely with us on the little nitty-gritty stuff.
Takes a team, right?
It does. And I know that Dave has been saying that his team is working. I need to meet with Dave to get the updates, but his team is addressing the Niagara Falls that would come in on a heavy rain and pour into the amphitheater. So his civil engineer, I believe, had a plan on mitigating that. Good. And also his new mason for the city is going to repoint the wall.
Excellent.
So eventually we will also get our ramp in there, but that again is a very, very big and complicated project, and way more complicated than you can imagine. Right. What happens is that we have a wonderful ramp design for the first part going down to that mid-level mezzanine, you might call it.
So it is accessible,
Yeah, it's accessible at the top.
Yes.
Totally.
Oh, easily,
and most
for
people
sure.
enjoy it at the top anyway.
Yes.
So it is handicap accessible, but we just wanted to make it more handicap accessible.
Yep.
So we do have like a winding, very graceful, lovely ramp designed to go into that mezzanine level, and hopefully that will happen soon. The real challenge becomes when you get to the mezzanine down to the stage, because it becomes a lot deeper and a lot narrower, and you don't have a lot to work with. Right. And so what you end up with is, as we've tried with our architecture team, we usually come up short on making it happen. Yeah. So we may need to forego that and or do some sort of a elevator in the back or a tunnel, or who knows. Okay. But I think that at least we can get some fresh pea stone put in and a lovely ramp down to the mezzanine in the next year.
Excellent.
So
5-year plan.
Yeah.
5-year plan.
There you go.
And maybe if there is a tunnel, that's our 10-year plan.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Because you do want to get the performers if there's performers.
Well, plus equipment,
and
sound equipment, lighting, sets for plays.
But I mean, if we were to propose a tunnel, I feel as if it's the city's really going to want to have some.
Well, they suggested it actually.
Did they really? Oh, I'm excited about this.
That's a long range plan.
Yeah, no, that was in the conversations that I had with Dave. And it's an idea. It's just that some of our architect people pushed back on that because tunnels can become notorious for, nefarious activities.
Especially if you're a teenager.
Yeah, people hiding out in the tunnels, and you need to have it gated.
Right.
It becomes
It has to be
so
lit
little.
and, yeah,
So
sure.
if it's done, it has to be done right.
Properly,
But that would just
yeah.
be like, to the side of the stage. It would
probably
basically
go
be.
into the yard, right? Into
It would
their
go through to the
Which
yard.
is a
Park
secure
yard.
facility, right?
Which
Yeah,
is a secure
the
facility.
yard that's in the back, which
Right.
is a lower
Yep.
level.
Yeah.
But in terms of like accessing it, you would then have an elevator.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a work in progress, and it's challenging.
Long
10-year
range
plan.
plan. 10-year plan. There you go.
We're getting there.
Sarah, you had your own personal challenges that you wanted to talk
Yeah.
about over the
Yeah.
past couple of years. Yeah.
So I know that some people were wondering, where I was at a couple of I think I had to miss like 3 of the shows, and I really couldn't be a big part of the festival that Anne did. Colonial to Contemporary, I think was the name of it. So that was more of a Thalia theater troupe endeavor, and we kind of supported. But my own story was that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It's been a year of treatments, and I went through chemo, I went through radiation. This is why I'm sporting my very short haircut. 2 surgeries. One of the scariest things I've ever been through, because I really was operating from a standpoint that I didn't think I was at risk. I was misinformed. I was operating from a place where I think a lot of people come from, which is where they think that breast cancer is inherited, or they think you have to have a lot of high risks to get it. And honestly, I don't fit the profile at all. It's not my family, and I didn't realize that actually we're all at risk, and it's because we're all exposed to a lot of radiation from different sources that can cause cancers, and cancers are, many of them are on the rise. I also was, I think, coming from a standpoint, the few people that I knew personally who had breast cancer were lucky enough to catch it very early. And so for them, they had a lumpectomy and they didn't have to go through chemo, and they kind of went on with life. And so I was thinking, there's kind of a misunderstanding out there that breast cancer is quote unquote curable. And this is not the case. So I'm sort of on a little bit of a crusade now to spread the word to people to please get screened. I was getting screened, but not frequently enough.
Okay.
Although my doctors have actually reassured me that I probably wouldn't have caught this anyway, because what I had was a grade 3, very fast growing and very scary cancer. So you don't want to assume that it's, if you know somebody who has it, don't assume, oh, they're fine, breast cancer is curable. It can be, it runs a whole spectrum, and it can, 1 out of 4 people who get breast cancer will die from it. So it is a very serious thing. It's still one of the leading causes of death for women. And beyond just breast cancer, cancer in general, I have so many friends who have been getting diagnosed with different cancers. And, like I say, we live in a world where we're exposed to a lot. And so, there's a lot that I didn't realize, that sugar it can be harmful, that putting on weight can be harmful, that, these things can increase your risks. But again, even if you don't think you're at risk, you really need to get the screenings.
Okay.
So I just urge people to get screened for all those cancers, whether it's colon cancer is another big, a big one. And if you have anything in your own body that doesn't feel right, act on it. I just saw a dent on myself, and it was a very minor thing. But I was fortunate enough that I had seen an ad saying if you see anything like that you should follow up on it right away.
Wow.
If I hadn't seen that, I might have dismissed it as nothing. So thank God, because I had a close call. I was really told that if it had gone any further, I might have been in the metastatic group.
Is that right?
Which
Wow.
is very, very scary.
Yeah.
So that's my story, and
Yeah.
I am thinking about maybe doing a podcast along the lines of health and wellness, or health, happiness, and and the pursuit of freedom. I have no idea what that would look like, but I'm just thinking about ways that I can help other people, because I kind of wish that somebody had shaken me and said,
Right.
you got to take this really seriously.
talking about it in public like this is the first step, right? Or
Yeah.
one of the steps anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, get the word out.
I think everybody's either directly or impacted by some form of cancer at some
Yes.
point in their lives. You know?
Yes.
So it really does hit everybody in one way or another.
I agree. Yeah, that's right. And you just want to make sure that you're not, that you're on the better side of that
Right,
care.
We're so glad that you are recovering
Thank you.
and active and,
Thank you.
and involved with the friends. I'm sure it
Yep.
gives you inspiration and a little bit of respite too from some of the heavy issues you've been
Yes,
dealing with.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm in good shape now.
Great.
So very thankful.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you both. It's been great to break the news about the new season for the Friends
So
of the Ruth
exciting.
Gordon Amphitheater. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. We
you are
always love
welcome.
coming here. Thanks for having us.
Oh, we love having you both. We really do. And you'll be back too, for sure. Absolutely. Friendsofrga.org,
Yeah.
main website again to go to, and again through social media as well. And thank you for watching us here on AM Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. We'll see you next time.